Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Ceazor. Today is June 22nd, 2026. As always, I got a lot of tweets for you. A lot of stuff happened over the weekend and try to get you up to date on that drama. Okay, so the charts look okay today. We had a nice little pump of around 2% for most of our coins. Hyper did not pump today, but it did pump and then it's recovered or retraced back down. Sonic is just pure redness, and I'll talk about this a little bit later in the tweets. ETH is up, nice chunk. Everything is looking okay. BTC is okay. Let's see the ratio. The BTC ETH ratio is still, crabbing along. I hope this can revert quite a bit because I don't really hold BTC much, and I'm an ETH maxi, so to speak. But anyways, let's get into the tweets. The first tweet I'm going to talk about today is someone suggested to me that I stop tagging all the projects in this podcast thing. So I'm going to stop retweeting my thread of podcasts here. I'm going to start a fresh one, and I'm going to try to run it as a thread instead of just a spam here of but I thought this would be better because it's concise and clear, but I guess the algorithm looks at this and says, oh, that's spam, and just trying to tag big people, and let's suppress that. So I'm going to try my best. I'm going to just tweet this out as a video for a little while, and then if I feel like it's difficult, and I might start running it as a thread. I'll probably do today as a thread though. But anyways, let's move on. So Polaris is a stablecoin project coming out soon. I'm biased on this one. I've seeded this project. It's pretty cool. I will make a video on it when that time comes, and there's a better public documentation for everyone to read. But let me kind of go through something that is said in here that's quite interesting. It says most experimentation, so we're talking DeFi, most DeFi experimentation has gone into wrapping staking rewards, while little attention has gone into creating new sources of yield, ETH denominated yield. Now that's not completely true. I can think of some projects that are doing that, specifically Liquidity, Bold, right? But he has a good point. A lot of the TVL and endeavors are circling around the idea that ETH, you can stake ETH to get a risk-free base yield of more ETH by all the LSTs and stuff like that. And that's something that we're going to be talking about a little bit more today. So I think he has a good point. We need to kind of look at other options for staked ETH. Another good option, which I don't have a tweet for, which I'll just kind of quickly search for it. So it's called ETH Strategy. I've talked about this many times in the past. Now they also have some ideas in here about not using the LST as the main source of yield. What they're doing instead is they're selling options and farming options, premiums and stuff like that. So you can check out that as well and see it as another. That's what kind of my point is, that there are some projects out there that are not just worried about ETH staking, but they are right. Polaris is right that a lot of it is about ETH denominated staking yields. Okay, so moving on. So here we have Jarek. He posted this, and I'm reading it. I've read it a couple times, and I keep looking at it, and I'm missing something a little bit here from his joke, some sort of context or something. But it says, "I'm sad to announce that Mr. Ethereum was part of the latest wave of layoffs at the ETH Foundation. Any spin-off entities is looking for a mascot. Let me know. I'm afraid that Mr. ETH was back to his old habits and jobs." So I guess I don't know, but I've seen this guy around a little bit. So maybe maybe Jarek was, sponsored to kind of throw this guy's face around a little bit, and then now they're like, yeah, we don't need this anymore, and then they laid him off. Or he's just kind of joking around. This is just parody. I'm not sure. Or someone who was using this guy as a tool for marketing has decided to stop. I'm not sure. But anyhow, that's that. So this is pretty interesting. So Mega ETH blockchain doesn't deserve netizens. Burned 67 of world computer netizens. So I'm not sure. I did ask this guy. I haven't got an answer yet. But it kind of seems like people are burning their NFTs on Mega ETH because of protests. Like there's a lot of talk about Mega ETH was like supposed to support these NFTs, different NFT collections, but they decided that they didn't like the NFT collections, so they decided not to support them. And people are in outrage about this. Like, hey, you know, I bought this NFT because it's supposed to be, you know, the important NFT on your blockchain, and now it's not going to be that. So I don't know. Maybe they're burning because of that. Maybe in protest. Moving on. So here we have Binji replying to Matterkrell. So what does it say here? The best is that ETH is called a communist by the same people nationalizing king-making state-sponsored products and calling it verification. Verticalization. So ask Ethereum haters what the alternative is. They then roll on the floor laughing because it's always one of these, a corpse slot VC chain or a low cap they can see pumped. So he's just basically defending ETH because ETH is the only thing that's taking shit seriously. Everything else is just like a way for some insiders, big money to like extract a bunch of money, or, you know, it's got like some sort of low liquidity, and they can pump it and then get hype and dump on the people who are buying the tops. So I guess that's the message here. And then what he's saying is, you know, like the king making and nationalization is very clear. Let's move on. So here we have FX 100. So they've got this tweet here. This is a perp dex from Protocol FX Aladdin DAO. I haven't tested this thing out yet, but apparently it's going to be like allow it for 100x non-liquidatable leverage. Now I don't think it's non-liquidatable. It's more like liquidated sort of protection, like you know, like you'll have a buffer of liquidation. So if it goes below your liquidation, then you're not instantly liquidated, but you kind of start losing your collateral, and then maybe you will, you know, gain it back if it reverts. But there is something in here that's very interesting. It says every position gets 15 minutes of liquidation protection. Now I'm not sure if that means the protection, like I said, where, you know, you have that bar of numbers of like this range of protection, or if it's like actual, you know, for 15 minutes it's impossible for the system to liquidate you. But that's interesting. Let's take a look. Let's see what they say in the future. Okay, so over the weekend, Jared of the Subway's wallet got drained. There's a lot of people tweeted about this. It happened on the weekend, so it's, you know, it's this guy. This is just the one that I selected to show. He does a little video that kind of explains how it works. The smallest TLDR is that like someone created a bunch of fake tokens, LPs, and Jared decided to start, like Jared's bot decided to start arbing them, approved a bunch of his real tokens, and then they just yanked like 15 million out of his wallet. You can watch this video if you want to know exactly the details of how it worked, but it's kind of like a fish attack instead of like a smart contract exploit. So somebody here posted, hey, Mr. White Hat, thank you for deceiving Jared of the Subway. I mean, he has taken a lot of ETH from me. Could you send me some of the ETH you stole from him? And I'm like, he lost a bit more ETH just sending that message, which is quite funny. I got this like stupid Discord beeping at me in the background. Anyhow, let's go. Frax Finance. So catch our VP of Comms, Sean, on a X space this Wednesday with Alto Money. So Alto Money is one of their partners in the sense of PegKeeper partners who uses FRX USD as their alternate stablecoin in the liquidity pools. I have some skin in the game of this one. It has a history of some strangeness to it. I do have a video to it. basically, like they had to pivot because there was an exploit and mismanagement, and that manager is gone now, and the treasury is being used to run this new thing called Alto. You can check it out and find out if it's something of interest to you. What am I getting this? Let me see. Anyhow, let's keep going. So Liquidity has just posted a picture of the danger zone stablecoins. A lot of stablecoins are doing kind of rough right now, and you can kind of go to Pharaoh's Watch and see where your stablecoin or the stablecoin you've decided to use sits. The sweet spot is the green safe stuff, and as you can see, Liquidity is quite nicely right in the safest of the safe, right? There's no centralization. It's risk-adjusted yield. You can get a decent 7% APR on your stable coins. Lots of options there for that. Yeah, check it out as always. So over the weekend, Sonic posted. I think it was on Friday, actually. But anyways, they posted this, and they basically said that Michael Kong, Andre Cronje, and David Richardson are resigning from the Sonic Labs board. And then we've got this new CEO, Matthew Weiser, steps in as CEO, and Kostas Komalios as COO. Now, that's why I kind of showed you this chart. The S chart is down quite a bit. There's been a lot of hate on Andre for stepping down, basically. They're saying he's stepping down at the bottom, getting out after he's already extracted blah blah blah, lots and lots of money. Anyhow, I'm going to segue right into Andre here and talk about, he's basically said, for the past year or a year and a half, all he's been working on is Flying Tulip, and Flying Tulip is doing this, so you can deposit stablecoins and get these yields. No curators, all on chain, no subsidies, instant liquidity. I don't know, man. People are hating on Flying Tulip, not because of Flying Tulip, but because of Andre. But do they have a is that a justified reason to hate on Flying Tulip because it's run by Andre? I don't know. That's up to you. That's your decision. I have skin in this game. I'm using this protocol because it makes logical sense to me, and I think the system that he has built is pretty cool, and I like it. Oh, that's why I closed that. So yeah, I want it to succeed, but I understand there's a lot of PTSD around Andre's products and his history, and I'm sure anyone who is listening to this probably and has been around crypto for a few years has some sort of Andre story to tell. Anyhow, so there's this little conversation here. It says, this is talking about something that was proposed on the weekend as well, where validators are someone proposed that the validators on ETH should be taxed. Basically, there should be a proposal, and all the validators can vote on it. And if the majority says yes, then all the validators should be taxed, and some of that tax should be sent to the ETH core devs to develop Ethereum better. There's a lot of hate on crypto Twitter about this. There's a few people defending it, but for the most part, it's no, don't do this. And it's it's a political decision into a technical thing, right? So it's the way I see it, I think it should be an option. It's easy to build, it's easy to do this. They're saying that the defenders of the prop are saying that the validators want to donate, but they just don't want to mess around with their rigs. So let's do this proposal thing. But what I think it should be a toggle switch. So everyone who updates their validator, the new validator, it could be a fork, it could be new validation software on a validator, and it's a simple switch. At any time you can turn it off and on, and you can direct some portion of your rewards to the ETH core devs. I also think that the ETH core devs should have their own cluster of validators, and that should produce a decent amount of yield as well. We shouldn't be taxing the entire network to give to them. if they can't sustain themselves on their own cluster of like 10%, then, or say they got 10% of the validation power, I'm not sure what they have, but let's say 10%, if they can't sustain themselves on that, then maybe it's costing too much to develop. I don't know. There's a lot of things in here, and I don't think people are not taking it very nicely and well. It's not going over pretty well, and it's unlikely to happen. But even still, like, the validators are already, someone said, I can't remember who it was, but someone said the validators are already the main contributors to the ETH dev. They are the people who are long ETH the most and who are actually using what the core devs are building. So like, it's like they're already supporting the core devs more than anyone. What I think, and what I've seen other people say as well, is this whole focus of like, let's take their money and give it to the core devs and let them work. I think the key thing is that endeavors or focus and efforts should be put on getting Ethereum more usage, more block demand, and therefore the value of ETH goes up. And then the core devs who are making ETH off their validator stacks can make more money. So like, yeah, I think that's the key thing there. Anyhow, so I got one more tweet for you. This is pretty interesting from Frax as well. So Justin, former New York Governor Andrew blah 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 will co-chair a new venture between OKX and the New York stock owner ICE Markets, New York Stock Exchange. So that's pretty interesting. So OKX and Stock Exchange are going to sit down and talk via this guy. And hopefully they're going to try to connect crypto markets with US futures and tokenized equities. Okay, we'll see what comes of that, but that's interesting. And that's it for today. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.